Okay, so dear students, in this lecture, we will be talking about kinetics of radical polymerization. As you are aware that polymers are very essential for day-to-day life, so we must know the different ways of synthesis, and already we have discussed about them. Now, in this lecture, we will be talking about the progress of the polymerization through the radicals that have been generated using initiators of low energy. Okay, so this in this lecture we will be discussing especially on the progress of the radical polymerization. Okay, so we know that in order to we study the kinetics for the process as well as to confirm the mechanistic ways of the synthesis, right? So now in this lecture we will be discussing on the kinetics of this radical polymerization and how the different steps involved, the different steps that are leading to generation of the different equations. Okay, that will be discussing in this lecture. Okay, to study the kinetics of radical polymerization, we will go stepwise. Okay, so already we know that in radical polymerization there are three steps like initiation, the propagation, and termination. Okay. So when we talk about the initiation step actually composed of the two steps. First one is decomposition of the initiator, and once the initiator I is decomposed into different radicals, okay, that radical take participation in the next process, that is that participate here and the chain initiation occurs. Okay, so there are two steps in initiation of the radical polymerization, that is decomposition of initiator followed by the chain initiation. These two steps are so fast that we cannot separate them on time interval. Okay, so let us talk first about the decomposition. What happens in decomposition? If you take any initiator I, it dissociates with rate constant Kd into 2 R dot. Okay. So since this 2 is representing the homolytic cleavage, so we can take the example here. For example, if I have hydrogen peroxide as an initiator, OH, so we represent hydrogen peroxide as OH, OH. So there is oxygen bond between these two oxygen atoms. So this bond is cleaved homolytically and we get the OH radicals. This one is one OH radical and there is another OH radical. So in this way we produce two OH radicals using the hydrogen peroxide. So the two is actually what we can say that the symmetric cleavage of the initiator. So here we produce the two radicals. Sometimes the initiators, okay, usually when there is homolytic cleavage, okay, there is a production of the radical 2 dot like this. Now, once this radical OH is produced and this OH is produced, okay, they can initiate the chain, okay, by their own. So this OH radical is highly unstable and it finds the position on the monomer and shares this electron with the monomer and forms an active radical chain. So we can say that if I put this OH radical instead of R dot here and suppose the monomer is ethylene, so that ethylene will react with this radical and one electron of the pi bond is shared with, already we have discussed that part, one electron of this pi bond shared with this radical and another will be shifted on the carbon. So there is a production of the carbon centered radical over here. Okay. So in this way, in chain initiation step, there is a reaction between the radical which is produced in the first step and the monomer. So just the shifting of the radical center from initiator to the carbon atom of the monomer that we will choose for the polymerization. Okay. So here we represent the rate constant of initiation step as Ki and dissociation step as or decomposition step as Kd. Okay. So for decomposition step we represent the rate of change of concentration of our radical. So this is on the product side. So we will call it as rate of formation of the radical from the decomposition step is equal to times Kd into concentration of I. Okay, so this is the rate of formation of the radical. Now, if you see the overall rate of the initiation step, so we can use um, we can say that the overall rate of the initiation is depending upon the decomposition state, right? So what we will do, we will write the rate of initiation as nothing but it is the rate of decomposition of the initiator. So here we can say that the rate of initiation is nothing but it is actually the rate of formation of the first active monomer attached species to the initiator, right? So here when we have this radical, it is attached to a monomer. So this radical reacts with the monomer and forms a single monomer attached species. That is called as the formation of the active center, which can further process the polymerization. Okay, so we will say that the rate of initiation is nothing but it is the rate of formation of the active center. So here I have represented rate of initiation is equal to rate of formation of the first active center. So instead of here 1, okay, in general we represent the thing d by dt of m dot. So d by dt of m dot is representing the rate of formation of monomer, okay, which is equal to 2 times f kd into I. So this is actually equal to 2 kd into I. So in this step only the f is incorporated. And what is that f? F is representing the initiator efficiency. What do you mean by initiator efficiency? Initiator efficiency means the rate of formation of the active radicals from the initiator. For example, if I take 100 molecules of hydroxyl radical, okay, if it is 100% efficient, all the 100 hydrogen peroxide molecule, okay, that will be converted into 200 OH radicals, right? Because it is 2 times R dot. So that is called 100% efficient. If the efficiency is less, then we can produce less number of the radical center. And if we produce less number of radical center, those less number will further undergo polymerization formation. Okay, so what we can say that this F is actually representing the initiator efficiency, and there are many parameters involved to express the initiator efficiency. For example, solvent, temperature, and the reaction conditions you are using for the polymerization process. So this F is also very important for the initiation. Once the initiation is done, the next step is the rate of propagation, right? Because after initiation, which step occurs? The propagation. And what we have seen in the propagation, we have seen in the propagation that the active centered carbon centered radical, that is the M1 dot, it reacts with again M2 M and forms M2 dot. M2 dot reacts with again monomer forms M3 dot, and so on. So finally we get attachment of n number of monomers. So here we can say that Mn dot react with M monomer and forms Mn plus 1 dot radical. So what does mean by this Mn dot? So this Mn dot is representing long chain of carbon atom. So for example, this is polyethylene chain with along with the active radical center. This is this Mn dot, and this M is representing our monomer, that is our ethylene molecule. Okay, whichever if it is going to react. So this is our ethylene monomer, and to this ethylene monomer it reacts. So if this chain will contain how many? This chain will contain n number of monomer in that, and within that n number monomer, this M, that is one more monomer gets added up, and there is a formation of Mn plus. Okay, so here we get this product Mn plus 1. Now in this case, what has happened is that this Kp, that is the rate of propagation, okay, rate constant of the propagation state. Now simply we represent the expression for the rate of propagation step. So rate of propagation is equal to, so this is the rate constant Kp into concentration of M into concentration of amine dot, right? So where concentration of M is representing the concentration of monomer. So we know that how much monomer we have taken for the polymerization. So we can easily find out the concentration of this monomer. This M dot is representing the concentration of the radical chain. Okay, actually, when the polymerization occurs, there are so many active radical chains. So one chain may be of, okay, let's say 5 carbon atom, another chain may be of 10 carbon atoms, another chain may be of 13 carbon atom. Okay, so all these are active chains. So this is M, this is representing actually Mn dot, this one is Mn dot. So N may be 10, 20. Okay, so this N may vary. So this M dot, what it representing actually, it represents the total concentration of all chain radicals, right? So when we form a polymer, okay, when we synthesize a polymer within a reaction chamber, there is a possibility of the existence of so many active radical chain. So the total concentration of all these active radical chain is represented by m dot. Okay, so therefore this is the parameter of challenge to find m dot. Now, after propagation, we move to the last and final stage of the polymerization, that is to control the molecular weight. We have to stop the polymerization at certain step. So we can stop or terminate the polymerization by two ways, by coupling and by disproportionation. And in coupling, we have seen that the two active chain, one is having n number of monomers, and another chain radical having m number of monomers, they will combine together and form a big molecule of n plus m monomer. Another way is that this proportionation. So here we have seen that the bit alpha proton shift to the other carbon atoms and the other polymer chain, and we get the dead polymers. And in this case, we get the smaller chain polymer. Okay, so here we get the larger polymers. So when we talk about the termination by coupling, so we represent the rate constant as rate of termination as by coupling as RTC. So R stands for rate and TC stands for termination by coupling, which is equal to 2 times Kd into. So okay, so here we have equated N and M, both are same. For example, in general, so we represent this N is equal to M is equal to M dot. So M dot into M dot is M dot square. This rate constant is Kt multiplied by, okay, this is equal to 2. So actually this is equal to. Now another way of termination is disproportionation. So this is what the equation of disproportionation we have represented, and we get the smaller molecule. In this case again, the termination rate constant is Ktd. So rate of termination by disproportion is equal to 2 times Ktd into m dot square. Okay. So we have these two equations, and combinedly we represent overall rate of termination is equal to 2 will be constant. Kt actually it is equal to rate of termination, which is equal to Kt plus Ktc plus Ktd, and this quantity is representing this Kt, and another quantity m dot square is as it is. So we can say that this RT into 2 Kt m dot square is representing the rate of termination. Now we have all three expressions. We have expression of rate for initiation, we have expression of rate for the propagation, and now we have also derived the expression of rate for the termination. Now our aim is to find out the overall rate of the polymerization, right? So the overall rate of the polymerization is actually equal to the rate of disappearance of monomer, because what happens when we do the polymer synthesis, every time we have to consume the monomer. So what we can say that there is a disappearance of the monomer. So if we could able to find out the rate of disappearance of monomer, which can be correlated very easily to the rate of chain polymerization. Now we have seen that the monomer is exist only in the initiation step and the termination step, because see, this is our initiation step, and in this initiation step this is our monomer. So monomer is exist in the initiation step, the monomer is also exist in the propagation step, but the monomer does not exist in the termination step. Do you see any monomer exist here? No. There are active chains. So therefore we can say that the monomer will disappear only in the initiation step and the propagation step, but not in the termination step. So therefore, we can represent the rate of disappearance of monomer, which is equal to summation of rate of initiation and rate of propagation, because initiation and the propagation are the only step where monomer is involved. So therefore, rate of disappearance of monomer is equal to the summation of rate of initiation plus rate of propagation. Now, if we compare the population of the monomer in initiation step and in the propagation, we have found out that the number of monomers maximally disappear in the rate of propagation compared to the rate of initiation, because in case of the initiation step we have seen that only one monomer is exist, but if we compare the propagation step we have to keep on adding number of monomers, right? So therefore we can say that the number of monomers are maximum in this case, okay, in case of propagation. So this addition would be just like 100 plus zero point 0.1. If I consider Ri as a zero point 0.1, means minimum number of monomers, and Rp as a 100, so 100 plus zero point 0.1 is nearly equal to 100. So therefore, we can say that the rate of disappearance of monomer is exactly equal to nearly equal to rate of uh, propagation, right? So minus d by dt, it means that it is the consumption. So rate of consumption of monomer is exactly equal to, is nearly equal to rate of, it is nearly equal to rate of polymerization. So rate of propagation. So we have ignored this quantity rate of initiation because there are minimum number of monomers involved in it. So this equation, now we have the expression for Rp. What is the expression for Rp? Expression for Rp is equal to rate of propagation multiplied by concentration of M multiplied by concentration of M dot. So we have substituted that quantity over here. Rate of propagation is equal to Kp into concentration of M into concentration of M dot. So what we can say here, that if we could able to find out the concentration of the m dot, that is the concentration, total concentration of all the active radical chains in the system, if we could able to find out this concentration, we can directly find the rate of polymerization, right? So to find out the concentration of all the active radical chain in the system, we will apply a steady state approximation. Okay. Now, what is this steady state approximation, or which we have to, we can apply it, because we have the three stages of this polymerization. First, we initiate the polymerization, then we propagate the polymerization, and then we finally terminate the polymerization. Right. So now, to apply the steady state approximation, we will be focused on these steps, that is initiation step and the termination step. If the rate of initiation is equal to the rate of termination, okay, if these two steps are equal, then what we can say that the polymer is at the steady state, right? So that is our steady state approximation. So with this assumption, let us assume that the rate of initiation is equal to the rate of termination. Okay, so now when we take the steady state approximation, the rate of formation of the active chains will be equal to 0, because that will be almost constant. Because we can say that the rate with which the initiation is occurring, at the same rate there is a termination. So the formed m dot will be constant, and the derivative of the constant term is equal to 0. Now, therefore, what we can say from this equation, that we have the expression for termination. And what is the expression for termination? So the expression for termination is equal to 2 times Kt into concentration of m dot square. This is what the expression for the termination step. But Ri is equal to Rt. So we can represent this quantity Ri is equal to this quantity 2 Kt into m dot square. So we represent this equation Ri is equal to 2 Kt into m dot. Just substitute the expression for Rt in this expression. We get 2 Kt into m dot square. Now, rearrange this equation for m dot. So if we take m dot on this side, it will be equal to m dot square, which is equal to Ri divided by 2 Kt. And now we have to take the square root. We have to find out the m dot. So we can take the square root of, okay. So square root of m dot is equal to Ri divided by 2 Kt. raised to 1. So here simply what we have done, we have rearranged this expression. So take m dot on this side. Okay. So what will happen? This 2kt will come over here, Ri divided by 2kt. But this is square term. To remove the square term, you have to take the square root of this. So it will be equal to Ri upon 2kt. So what we can say that the concentration of total concentration of the active radical chains in the system is equal to the ratio of rate of initiation to the rate constant of termination in the square root order. Okay, so substitute this expression m dot. Okay, in this expression that is here, if you substitute for this m dot, what we will get? We will get the expression for the polymerization. So we will substitute that. So we can say that minus d by dt, rate of consumption of monomer, which is equal to rate of polymerization, which is equal to Kp, that is the rate constant of propagation multiplied by concentration of monomer. And for m dot, we have substituted this quantity Ri divided by 2kt raised to 1 half. Okay. Again, we know that expression for Ri, that is rate of initiation, which is equal to 2f kd into concentration of I. So if you substitute that quantity, so 2 gets cancelled. It is equal to f kd into concentration of I divided by kt raised to 1 half. Okay. So this overall expression is representing the rate of propagation of the that is the rate of polymerization of the radical rate of polymerization for the radical polymerization process. Okay, so in this way, from this equation, what we can conclude that if we double the concentration of monomer, what will happen? How it will affect on the rate of polymerization? It will double the rate of polymerization, but doubling the concentration of initiator does not doubles the concentration of does not doubles the rate of radical polymerization. So this way we conclude the things that the rate of polymerization is directly proportional to the concentration, but it is directly proportional to the square root power of the initiator. So if we have all these parameters, if you know the radical, if you know the initiator efficiency, and if you know the rate of dissociation of the initiator and termination rate constant,